What's good, everybody? It's your boy, the Qtip, and we're back with another video. And we are back with Q-Tip's Corner, the second edition of Q-Tip's Corner. If you missed the first one was Haley Jones. Make sure you go back and watch that. The second one today will be about Minnesota Lynx guard Kayla McBride, another one of my favorite players. So some of these, there's a little bit of bias, but some of these, I feel like these are all true into what Q-Tip's Corner is going to be and what it means. But I also think there's going to be players that I may not necessarily have been like a fan of since they were in college or since they came into the league, and I can still recognize like, hey, they've been underappreciated, they've been undervalued, maybe even by myself. So that's what this will turn out to be sometimes. This is going to be one of those ones where I'm giving flowers to one of my favorite players, but also a player that I feel like has been undervalued, underappreciated, underacknowledged, um, and relatively unwanted at one point. So this year she averaged because the season is over now. She averaged 14 points a game. She was 42 from the floor, 40 from the from the 3 point line. Sorry, 90 from the free throw line. Um, Hugely important to the Minnesota Lynx success. Obviously, Fee is the MVP of their team. I don't want to say obviously because she might not win the MVP, but she's the best player on their team. She's the most important player on their team. But what Kayla McBride is able to bring to the team, the shooting, the ball handling, the defense that she's able to bring, the experience that she's able to bring, is huge. You know, you can't understate the kind of shooting that she's able to bring, the spacing that she's able to bring, and just the factors that she's going to bring. And I would say what I'm trying to say is like what defenses have to worry about. Like Fee is obviously at the top of the scouting report. I would say the second on the scouting report is Kayla McBride for sure, and it wouldn't be like a very far down like from Fee. Like if Kayla McBride gets hot, like it's really hard to stop them as a team because you can't double Fee. I guess you could, but they have five players that are able to shoot 9 times out of 10 on the court. So uh, her being out there, just her gravity is huge, and she's always been a consistent player. She's always been really good. She's a 5 time All Star now. She's been great overseas, multiple time champion over there. I think 3 time EuroLeague champion. Been a Final Four or EuroLeague Final Four award winner. Like she was great at Notre Dame. I think she was even underappreciated at Notre Dame. She was underappreciated when she was with the Aces and the Stars. She got to the point where, well, I won't say she got to the point. It got to the point where it just felt like everything that went on with the Aces, she was one of the first people that people would bring up as to why they weren't where they were. Um, and she eventually was able to get to the Lynx, and I don't want to say resurge, but it's just been able to show her value, really. Someone that's been able to score over, I would say, like score around 13, 14 points a game every single year, give you good defense, be a great teammate, and just be super valuable on the court, on and off. And largely available as well. Like that's a big piece too. Is just like for as much as basketball she plays, like she doesn't take any off seasons off. She goes and she plays overseas. Last year she played an unrivaled and still played overseas. Um, so she's someone that clearly loves the game of basketball, which is huge for your team, and has gotten better year after year. And I think a lot of that has to do with her playing overseas and playing different roles overseas. Like when you're in the WNBA, you may be playing a specific role unless you're one of the top players. Once you get overseas, depending on what team you're on, you might be the best player. You might be the top of the scouting report. So you have to play different ways. You have to find different ways to get to what you want to get to. And Kayla McBride's been able to do that every single year. Her effective field goal percentage this year is 54.2, true shooting percentage of 59%. She's an 11-year pro. And I just really don't feel like she gets enough praise. And I love the way that she plays offense, and it's not just like, oh, she's a good shooter and that's it. Like I think she's a kind of similar to like Klay Thompson, and but also different because she's able to put the ball on the floor a little bit more than he was in his prime. I think her off ball movement is super underrated. I think, and when I say off ball movement, it doesn't mean like you're super fast running off of screens or super speedy coming around picks or anything like that, like Ray Allen or Steph. Uh, but I think just like the slight moves, the slight movements to the right, slight movements to the left, slight steps back, like just being available. And I don't think people think about that enough. Like as a shooter, being available is probably the most important thing because if you're not available, you can't get the shot off. You can't get a shot. You can't even get the ball. So her being available at all times, and I put out a highlight reel on TikTok. So you'll be able to see that, or you'll be able to go watch that. The link will be in the description. You'll be able to go watch that after you listen to this or after you watch this or as you watch it, whichever you want to do, so that you can see a little bit of what I mean in terms of her movement and just like sliding right, sliding left, just making herself available for her teammates. Um, and then even like she's well improved with the ball in her hands, coming off of screens and making the right passes and things like that. And that's something that she really didn't do a lot in Vegas, but I think it was more they didn't ask her to do it. The coaching there was a little bit different than it is now. So some of the things that they were looking for, or some of the things that you're looking at now that she's able to do, she wasn't really asked to do or wasn't tasked to do at the time. So um, I just feel like of all the players in the league, she's been in the league for 11 seasons. She's a 5-time All Star. She's probably one of the most underrated talents in the league because of the fact that she's not like super flashy. She's not going to go out there and get you 30 every night. She's not going to go out there and get you 25 every night. But she's going to get you 15 to 20, I would say, pretty much every night. There are going to be nights where she, doesn't have like 15 to 20 points, but for what you need of her to do, for what you need her to do, and she very well, like, if the Lynx had won the championship last year, I'm not saying she would have been a Finals MVP, but she would have been probably the second best player on that team and the second most important player on that team. And that's huge. That is huge. And I think we have to take into account when we talk about like future Hall of Famers of like when we talk about the basketball Hall of Fame, it's not just what they did in the WNBA. It's not just what they did in the NBA. It's what they did in the WNBA and the NBA. It's what they did in college. It's what they did overseas. It's what they did in the Olympics. Granted, she hasn't played in the Olympics, but actually, no, I don't think she's played on an Olympic team, but I think she's played on like some USA like World Cup teams. I don't know for sure, but um, I think the overseas stuff is going to help her in that case. I'm not saying she's for sure going to be a Hall of Famer or anything like that, but I just think when you get to where she is in her career, and she's not really mentioned with the top guards or with the top players of this era, I think it's a little disingenuous because she's been there every single year, no matter what team she's playing on, no matter how bad or good the team is. She's been there every single year, been super consistent. And sometimes consistent is a bad thing. When you're consistent, people just expect you to be there. People don't really expect much of you. Um, but she's had like some really, really good years. She's had some really, really good stretches. Um, and I would just say like when it comes to players in her caliber or like underrated players that are like her, I'm trying to think of some players that are like similar to her. Like one of my favorite players of all time that I always pick when I do like WNBA all time drafts is Katie Douglas. Like she's very similar to Katie Douglas. Like I don't think she's the defender Katie Douglas was, but Katie Douglas is one of my favorite players to watch growing up because she was just able to do everything, but she was always consistent. She wasn't like gonna go out there and be like super, super flashy or do anything crazy. She wasn't gonna pop off to people that hadn't watched the game before. Like if you hadn't watched the game, if you haven't watched the Lynx play and you watch 2 or 3 games a season, Kayla McBride may not, pop off the screen and be like, oh my God, Kayla McBride can hoop. Like Fee's gonna pop off the screen. Courtney Williams is gonna pop off the screen because she's got a great crossover and she's gonna talk a lot of trash. I wouldn't say talk a lot of trash, but she's very charismatic, I would say. Um, but then after that, there's probably not a lot of players on the links that you're like, all right, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like I like them. Or, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like they got it. Like Kayla McBride is typically very quiet until she gets turned up. She's typically very quiet, just goes about her business. Very like Ray Allen, like just silent assassin kind of like just even killed, like just gonna do exactly what my team needs. And sometimes that's a bad thing. Sometimes that is to the deficit, but And I don't think she's someone that cares about what people think about her. I don't think she's someone that cares if she's underrated or overrated or whatever. I just think the Aces year, like the last couple of Aces years, have put her in a category or have put her in people's minds where she shouldn't be, in my opinion. I think there was a lot of things said about her when she was leaving the Aces and when she was going through, or when the Aces were trying to get over that hump and couldn't get over it. A lot of the blame was going towards certain players, and Kayla McBride happened to be one of those. And I feel like, again, I feel like it was unfair, but I also feel like that those narratives have stayed with her with a certain group of fans or with certain fans, and I don't think it's fair because she's proved, even though I think she was really good then, she's proved that she's improved every single year since she left there and has been a huge piece to a team that 2 years ago no one thought was going to be in these kinds of conversations. Last year they were in the championship or they were in the finals, lost in game five on the road in overtime where, again, I said it a ton of times, but they should have won it. They had it. They literally had the game, and she would have been a huge piece to a championship team. And all the narratives would have been gone. Now they have another chance to do it this year, and if she can get that championship here, the narrative should change around what her name is or like what her legacy will be when she ends up eventually retiring in a few years. What her legacy will be to people that aren't like Kayla McBride fans, to the average fan or to the fan that wasn't really a fan of hers when she was playing, or former Aces fans or former Stars fans. Like, the conversation will change, I feel like. And I don't think she needs a championship for that conversation to change, because I feel like the conversation should already been changed because she's been doing what she's been doing for the last 5 years. But I will say championships make it a lot easier for people to be like, all right, you know what? Let's give them their respect. Like, oh, they deserve it. Like, and I'm not saying that Kayla McBride doesn't get the respect she deserves, but there's definitely some fans out there that just don't understand how good of a basketball player she is and have taken what she's been and taken what she's done for granted in a way, but also just like disrespected it, I think. Um, some people may disagree. If you disagree, you disagree. That's all I have for today. Again, the TikTok video will be out so you can go see the highlight reel and see some of the things I was talking about her offensive game. Um, and then the next Q-Tips Corner will be out probably Monday. I probably won't post any video, WNBA video over the weekend. Maybe I will because the playoffs start Sunday, so maybe I'll post something there. Um, but as far as Q-Tips Corner should be back Monday, if not Monday, Tuesday. So thank y'all for rocking with me. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Should have said that at the beginning. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know how you feel about this, and let me know who you would want to see in the coming weeks and in the coming days on these videos. Thanks.